Okay. Number two. Um, do you owe your employer loyalty after you've been fired?
Yeah, that's a good one. In general, I would say no. However, I think that there's two factors that are in play there. One is loyalty is a character trait, and if you're a loyal person, you're going to demonstrate loyalty regardless,
Mm,
right? So a person with where that's one of their character values, they're just not going to do certain things. I've known people personally who were fired from jobs under dubious circumstances. And they chose not to pursue legal action because they had an issue with their manager, but they didn't want to damage the actual organization
mm.
because they thought the organization and the individuals outside of that person were too valuable to be compromised in an ugly situation like that.
Okay.
I think the person also knew that ultimately they would be okay.
Mm,
And that was the truth. They were able to
mm,
go on and do incredible work beyond that. I think the other consideration when you're terminated from a job is like, what's the reason? If you get like what they call like rift, like reduction in force, because the company didn't bring in enough revenue, and now they have to let people go. That's not a personal thing.
mm.
Like that's a circumstantial thing that does affect you personally. And I think when that happens, you have to ask yourself, am I going to blame the company or the organization, or is there things like outside of the control that had this happen? There were a lot of people who lost their jobs during COVID because the industries that they were a part of were no longer able to deliver whatever their service was. I'm not, I was fortunate enough to not be in that kind of situation. But I think for people that were, they have to ask the question, is that, on the company? Is
Mm,
that a circumstance, outside their control? Whatever the case may be. So in general, I would say no, but I think that loyalty is based on who you are and the circumstances under which you're, terminated.
mm. Good answer. Good answer. And
Thank you.
last but definitely not least,